Remember the police officer or the community officer that got killed by the drunk driver while he was on duty and he was out there doing his job and all of that, and ultimately he lost his life, right? And so we did a whole quick hit segment to it, and we wanted to acknowledge and wish them well and make sure that we prayed for the widow and stuff like that, because he was a married person. It's always the drunk driver that gets away, and they get away unscathed and they don't have any injuries or problems or anything like that. But Oakland is a problem. It is really a problem. They are basically asking the widow for the man that died to pay back $461. Check it out.
Furious police union lashing out at the city of Oakland over an attempt to take back money from the widow of police officer Tuan Le.
All we want is her to be left alone, especially during this challenging time.
The city now says that request to the widow was an oversight. Good evening this Wednesday. I'm Christina Rendon.
And I'm Mike Meeback. Just 8 months after he was shot and killed in the line of duty, the city asked Officer Le's widow to pay back close to $500.
Oh, wait. He wasn't even the one that was shot. He wasn't even the one that was killed by the drunk driver. This is one that was shot and killed. I did not know that. All right. Let me recant that. So I wasn't aware that he was one. He was actually shot and killed in the line of duty. And this is disrespectful.
Our crime reporter Henry Lee here now after speaking to the police union. And Henry, what
this is a different guy.
Well, they say what the city did was heartless and disgraceful, threatening to seize this widow's assets all over a relatively small amount of money.
I just don't understand. This is the path that you really want to go down and spend this much time and effort for $461.
Disbelief and anger after the city of Oakland asked the widow of slain officer Tuan Le to pay back money that he had allegedly been overpaid because of the city's ransomware attack. The city threatened in a letter to lien Sarah Fung's pension and death benefits if the money wasn't returned. That's according to Sergeant Hui Win, president of the Oakland Police Officers Union.
The decision making to send this letter is extremely ridiculous and inhumane. You don't do this to anybody, especially to a widow of a murdered police officer.
Le was shot and killed early the morning of December 29th while responding to a burglary at a cannabis business along Oakland's Embarcadero. He was working undercover and in plainclothes, driving an unmarked truck.
And now to get attacked like this by the city attorney's office, the city of Oakland, on such a small amount of $461.
Wynn says rather than having the city try to claw back that amount, the police union decided to cut this check to the city.
Here's a check for $461. Leave Sarah alone.
By midday Wednesday, the city of Oakland released a statement saying Le was among 120 cases in which employees have been overpaid because of the ransomware issue had wreaked havoc on the city's payroll system. The city administrator has directed staff to waive the debt. The statement went on to say the city stands with Officer Le's family and apologizes for any distress or inconvenience this issue has caused for them.
It seems like the city of Oakland is in the news for all of the wrong reasons every single day. We're going to bring them back to the front of the congregation a little bit later towards the end of the show, but because we got to talk about Proposition 36 over in California, because that's an important issue. But should be checks and balances in place, because this might have just been an administrative issue to where they didn't realize that the officer was slain and they just went through a whole thing. But yeah, it's kind of crazy and insensitive that this would be a thing that would be brought up 8 months after the officer was slain. It's y'all fault that the ransomware attack then affected people being overpaid in the first place, but neither here nor there. In addition to that, 40 suspects, the usual suspects. You know, the culture is getting a lot more educated, complicated, and aggressive when it comes to finessing and frauding. So 40 suspects and more is on the way, was arrested in a $600,000 fraud scheme that mostly affected Houstonians, people that were living in Houston. You know how I say that Houston is the new Atlanta? Well, let me show you why.
A new on Live at 5, 4 people are in the Chambers County Jail tonight, accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from dozens of people in our area.
Mount Bellevue police started the investigation, and they say the alleged crime involves stolen data from the dark web. ABC 13's Courtney Carpenter is live in Mount Bellevue with the latest on this one, Courtney.
Yeah, Eric, police tell us they know of 35 victims of this particular scheme, and these people didn't click on anything or give out their banking passwords. They simply woke up one morning to find money missing from their accounts. And it was back in June when Mont Belvieu police realized a trend with some fraud reports, found a few other local departments were working similar cases, and then connected the dots to determine they believe a local group of people are responsible. So far, 40 total arrests have been made.
Y'all be looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm looking at you like you crazy. This is why I don't be trusting certain people, especially it's always some dreadheads in there. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh, Anton, you did? Yeah, I'm absolutely profiling. That's profiling, keep you safe. Profiling, keep your money in your bank account. I don't care nothing about what you talk about when it comes to stereotyping. I stereotype all day, every day. If you unkept and you don't trim your mustache and you got some dreads in your head and you shaking them like this, like it's 2004, then we gonna have some problems, because chances are, y'all keep looking at all of these dudes that's driving these cars and tricking off on these women. They got scammer money. Scammer money is different, because when you don't have to work for it, it's different. It hit different. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no sense of responsibility. You don't know what it means to actually grind and hustle for it. Scammer money hit different, bro.
Some as far away as Georgia and Illinois, but many were here in the Houston.
Look at their names. Gregory Edwards, Jason with a Y, Gibson with a P, Doc Frank, LaJewel McGilbray. Assistant. Anybody that comes in our sphere with a LA at the beginning of their name, or what is it? Or A at the end of their name. If they name start with a LA or it ends in a vowel, then we gonna have to make sure. If it ends in a vowel, not a consonant, a vowel, then we gonna have to put extra scrutiny on it. All right? Real talk. Because I don't want nobody named LaJewel McGilbray. If I see an application that come across my desk and it say LaJewel McGilbray come in, hey, make sure you check that, double check it. Yeah, don't get mad at me. Get mad at your parents for naming you that way. Your parents, sometimes we need to hold our parents accountable for putting us at odds in and naming us after cars. If your parents name you Alexis, because they wanted a Lexus, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? If your parents named you Saturn, Saab, with the gold BBSs, that's their fault. Oh man, it's too much discrimination. No, it was too much ignorance when your parents had you and they decided that they wanted to name you LaJewel. Freak, what is going on in this? Lorante? That's your parents' fault. Every time I see a chick named Mercedes, I just be looking like, So your mama was a gold digger, huh? And your daddy was a simp because he let her name you Mercedes. Middle name S-Class. Y'all gotta hold y'all parents accountable for putting y'all at a disadvantage. If your mama did that to you, then that's your mama's fault. Don't get mad at us for saying, I don't know if we should hire this person. We're going to name the next person to the executive team LaJewel McGilbray. If your name is LaJewel, you have no future ahead of you inside of the executive offices of corporate America. I'm just going to tell you right now, you are behind the 8 ball, and every single time that they call your name for attendance when you go into school, it is going to be giggles. That's a Jewel. Ain't nothing cute about that. Stop having children out of wedlock.
Area. These 4 people, all from Baytown, are who police say are the ringleaders: Gregory Edwards III, Doc Frank, Jason Gibson, and LaJewel McGilbray. They are all charged with money laundering and engaging in organized criminal activity. Police say they got a hold of financial information off the dark web from data breaches and used it to then wire money out of people's accounts. The total amount of money police say they stole is somewhere between $360,000 to $600,000. Many of the other arrests that were made were people accused of letting these guys use their bank accounts to funnel the stolen money.
Once they get the information, they start making wire transfers out of the victim's bank.
I be looking at that, Rochelle. And I appreciate you because you are absolutely a great supporter of the show. Did you ever have that conversation with mama and say, what's going on? Why would you do that to me? Did you really want a girl? I remember the first time that you ever super chatted. I said, because I remember I was confused. I said, are you using your girl's account? Because I don't be knowing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm bad. I'm about to change my name on DoorDash.
Bank accounts.
Because I be having aliases. I do. I be having aliases on DoorDash and Uber and all of that stuff. And I got basic names. But from now on, my new DoorDash name is going to be LaJewel Rochelle. And have y'all heard this story? A mailman was arrested because he had illegal drugs. He was dumping mail and all that other type of stuff. Take a look.
A Gwinnett County mail carrier is accused of getting high on the job while stealing mail, then dumping it in the woods. Channel 2 Gwinnett County Bureau Chief Matt Johnson talked to neighbors who wondered where all their mail went.
This is extremely serious.
These are some of the pieces of mail that Gwinnett police say they found dumped and stolen by one U.S. Postal Service mail carrier.
We had a large amount of Gwinnett County citizens who were not getting their mail, so we decided to investigate them.
Last week, undercover officers arrested 33-year-old Marcus Gregory after they followed him at work. They say they saw him dump mail along Highway 316. Police also found drugs in Gregory's post office work car and charged him with driving under the influence of drugs.
They searched the vehicle, they located a handgun inside, and a large amount of mail that was not delivered.
The USPS Inspector General reached out to Gwinnett police after getting complaints from Decula residents about missing mail. Police say they found 215 pieces of mail in Gregory's personal car at the post office on Fence Road, along with more mail at his home and in the woods.
And federal charges may be pending in this case. However, as of right now, he's just charged on the local level for stealing the mail.
Again, is that even if it's my mail, I may not know.
Tony Lowe lives in the Decula area and says he's relieved the stolen mail was recovered.
There's more of it out there that we don't know about.
Police don't believe Gregory was after any money, but it's unclear why so much mail never made it where it was supposed to go.
There are bad apples out there, but I don't blame the system for that. You know?
That's unfortunate because
car and charged him with.
When I was talking to somebody, I was talking to somebody that was a mail carrier, and they said, Anton, mail carriers are some of the laziest people that you've ever seen in your entire life. That's what they told me. They said mail carriers are some of the laziest people that you've ever seen in your entire life. I said, no, because I see some mail carriers, and they say, Anton, they savages. They savages, they got the union to protect them. I said, I didn't even know that they had unions in mail carriers. But the dude had people's mail in his car. He was getting high on the job and all of that. When y'all get these good positions that ultimately pay y'all well and stuff like that, don't y'all know that y'all got to make sure that you hold on to that position because you're going to regret it later on in life? Ladies and gentlemen, that is your Quick Hits.